A slow, gnawing pain settled in my chest. Amelia wasn't home again. Book club? She had said, a faint smile curling her lips. The kind that hadn't lasted lately. These days, nothing seemed to last. Not her laughter. Not her warmth. Not even the way she used to touch me without recoiling. Now she flinched. She whispered on the phone behind closed doors. She wore a new scent, claiming it was a present from a friend. But my instincts told a different story. One I wasn't ready to read, but couldn't ignore. I'd spent 15 years building a life with this woman. 15 years of shared dreams and silent trust now crumbling into a powdery residue of doubt. I reached for the whiskey bottle, letting the rich amber swirl into the glass, echoing the chaos churning inside me. On the mantelpiece sat a framed photo our wedding day. We were younger then, smiling with the naive certainty of forever. Were we always this blind? Had I been fooling myself all along? 2 weeks ago, I hired a private investigator. A no-nonsense guy named Vic, gruff, discreet, expensive. A friend of mine had used him when his own marriage hit the rocks. Vic didn't make promises. He delivered facts. His fee had made a noticeable dent in our shared account, but I justified it. This was an investment in clarity, no matter how brutal. Today the answers arrived. The doorbell rang. A jarring clash against the quiet despair hanging in the air. Vic stood there holding a manila envelope. He handed it over silently, his expression unreadable but heavy. I muttered a thank you, shut the door, and leaned back against it, heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped animal. Inside the envelope were photos. Amelia in the arms of another man, laughing, kissing, walking hand in hand into a hotel. I didn't recognize him, which somehow made it more personal, not less. A nameless stranger had stolen what was mine. Vic's report painted the full picture. Secret meetings, affectionate texts, late nights that coincided perfectly with her so-called book club, her yoga sessions, her extra hours at work. Rage surged through me, raw and immediate. I wanted to destroy something, scream, smash every reminder of her. But instead, a colder instinct kicked in. I wouldn't fall apart. I wouldn't give her the satisfaction of seeing me broken. This wasn't the end. It was the opening chapter of something new. Over the next few days, I buried myself in planning. I contacted a lawyer, started divorce proceedings, and began compiling every shred of proof that Vic had uncovered. I pulled out half of our shared savings, my half, and moved it to a separate account. I packed a suitcase and booked a room in a nearby hotel. Before leaving, I scribbled a brief note. We need to talk. When she walked into the house, I was already there waiting. Her eyes fell on the bag, then the note, and her face turned pale. What's going on, David? She asked, her voice thin and shaking. I raised the envelope. Book club was quite the experience this week, wasn't it? She froze, color draining from her cheeks. She tried to speak, deny, explain, anything, but nothing came out. I laid the contents of the envelope on the table. Every photo, every message, every timestamp. Who is he? I asked, my voice low and razor-sharp. Tears spilled down her face. It just happened, David. It didn't mean anything. That line, the oldest excuse in the book. Didn't mean anything? I repeated, venom seeping into every syllable. You lied. You cheated. You shattered everything we built. She collapsed into sobs, swearing it was over, begging for another chance. But I was done listening. The love we had, the life we shared had burned down to ashes, and all that remained was cold regret. The following day, with Vic's report in hand, I found the other man. A junior exec from a competing firm, cocky, polished. He clearly hadn't expected me to show up. He tried to wave it off, calling it a fling, a mistake. But I wasn't there for excuses. I dismantled him with words, surgical, brutal, precise. I didn't touch him. I didn't have to. The panic in his eyes, the way his confidence crumbled, was satisfaction enough. Word of the affair spread fast. Our social circle turned icy. Amelia found herself alone, shunned by the same people she used to confide in. The friend she had lied to while pretending to be somewhere else. Her career faltered. Her name became a whisper people shared with a shake of the head and a note of judgment. The divorce dragged on, bitter and exhausting. But in the end, I came out clean. Dignity intact. Future secure. She walked away with nothing. No home, no husband, no respect, and eventually no lover. He bailed the moment things got difficult, vanishing as quickly as he'd come. The ache stayed for a while. It lived in my chest, quiet and dull. But time, as always, did its work. I started rebuilding, found comfort in old hobbies, made new connections. Amelia remained a scar, faint but permanent. She no longer had the power to ruin me. Months later, I was out to dinner with a friend. We were laughing, clinking glasses, sharing stories. Then I saw her, Amelia, sitting alone at a distant table. She looked worn down, thinner. Shadows haunted her face. Her eyes met mine, filled with something that looked like remorse. For a second, I felt pity, but it vanished just as fast. I turned back to my friend, raised my glass and smiled, genuinely, freely. I had survived. I had moved on, and that was the sweetest revenge of all.